Right, so Rhoda, okay, let's exclude. Rhoda is now central part of my life, so it's very hard to exclude, but let's start with from the beginning. I was born and raised in Saudi. I went to the Sri Lankan International School in Riyadh, so I was around the Sri Lankans. So I spoke Sinhala, and I've been like most of my friends, childhood friends, are Sri Lankan. Growing up, I was still within Sri Lanka, so the Sri Lankan pride never left. Um, Never left me, right? I think as I moved here, it just got even more like stronger, I guess, because I wanted to make I was from a very early age. I was very keen in basically being a proud son of Sri Lanka, um, and yeah, so that's by being my more central vision towards anything that I did. One of the main reasons for this is because growing up in Saudi, I used to travel everywhere in a car. Like I used to, my parents drove me around. And when I moved here, my dad actually didn't come with us. He was still there, and then for the first couple of years of my life, I was commuting in a bus, right? And then if like going to moving from being driven to a car like to your O levels and whatnot, and then starting A levels, university, and the first couple of years of my work, being going in the bus was the main reason for Rhoda, right? Because commute time, spending 4 or 5 hours a day in the bus is excruciating, so and I saw, and not just me, more than 1 million people um, commute daily pre-COVID, obviously. They commute daily in Sri Lanka, in Colombo alone, and I've seen this pain, this anguish that you have in everyone's faces, traveling, being packed into into buses, and being sweaty in a tropical country. It's not very easy. And the idea was. Basically it stemmed from there. So every single moment, every single second was me thinking that we can do something for this, right? There is a solution to this can't be the status quo. That wasn't the aha moment for Rhoda, but rather that was the moment there where I believed that I just believed that this is not the status quo, this can't be. And growing up, my dad he was head of production in an industrial company. He was basically building security barriers, like these hydraulic, really cool, mechanical and electronic, like really cool barriers. And growing up, in Saudi, I grew up around these in the factory. Like weekends, I used to spend in the factory, working on the lathe machine, or welding something, or grinding something, or just like learning stuff, like learning CAD simulation and stuff like that. The stars were aligning that I didn't even realize that it was just there. I don't know, for some reason I was blessed or privileged enough to be able to grow up in an environment, in an engineering, building, manufacturing environment. Like CAD simulation, for example, my dad's boss, the general manager, so he used to make me sit next to him and just like be like, shut up and just look at what I'm doing, that's it. Then for hours on end I used to just do that. I used to just sit with him while he was working on AutoCAD. And then so obviously those helped, right, when I was building this. So yeah, growing up in this manufacturing space and building space, like I from a young age I thought of myself as someone who loves to build. Like I remember when I was like 10 years old, I kept thinking to myself, I can't just be a mechanical engineer, because mechanics alone is not going to do anything for me. I need to be an electronics engineer. I need to know electronics also, right? So from a young age, those are things that I was looking forward to. And I remember building things like small, these electric DC motors that we remove from like cars, these RC cars. Building in that space, that has been like something that I've been very keen in, right? And then obviously every Sri Lankan father's dream is that his son becomes an engineer. Thankfully, I loved the engineering aspect of it. So coming to Sri Lanka, I did my A levels here, and I went to university. in Cinec. It was an affiliate program from the University of Wolverhampton, and they offered the degree that I wanted, which was mechatronics engineering. So it's mechanical and electronics. So I think that was again something that fit me. I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to go to Malaysia, but due to financial issues, I ended up being in Sri Lanka. But I think that was also a good thing because it was more excruciating, because I think my university time was when I actually really felt the pain of traveling by bus, because I used to live in Battala and I go to university in Malabar. So you're talking about 3 buses and the dreaded 154, which I know you are very familiar with also because of it passed through Royal College. So that dreaded 154 was something that I took on a daily basis. So this was all like burning, like lighting a fire within me to be like, this needs to change. But then I started working, even worked in the first couple of years, like first year or so, I was working for a small salary, so I couldn't afford a mode of transport by myself, like to buy one. But then I actually bought a motorcycle before my phone, even though I was a very eager smartphone enthusiast and I always wanted an Apple and an iPhone. My first investment was a motorcycle, because I realized that, if I buy this motorcycle, I feel like my life would be much better than having a phone right now. So my first investment was the phone. The bicycle. My first investment was the bicycle, the motorcycle, and then it was a really old cafe racer, like a really nice looking, antique looking cafe racer. But riding it around, it was very loud, it was very domineering in the roads. It was a really nice motorcycle. But the thing is, it used to like fail emission tests on a regular basis. I felt very guilty riding that around because it sometimes has like smoke coming out of it and it's burning oil. So it wasn't really like I loved the feeling of riding it, this hog, but I didn't like what it was doing to the environment. And then so I started my career as a design engineer again. As luck would have it, or as whatever it was, I got into like a design company, Sri Lanka's first design company, so it was a product design company. Then I got a job there as a junior design engineer, and then my next job after that, I stayed there for a year, and then next job was actually in solar, because I was very keen in sustainable, like the movement. I believed that it was definitely going to be the future, and these were all not like fancy jobs. These were just jobs that I did to learn about the industries. Like my first job was a very minimum pay. My second job was also like I had to save up for I bought my motorcycle for $40,000, but I had to save for 2-3 months to get that motorcycle, and then it's so yeah, it was all minimum pay, but I was eager to be in the industry. We be in the solar industry, and I worked there, and I actually started as a sales engineer, because I knew that I was good at communication. So I was like, okay, let me start, get into this industry, get into foothold of this industry by being a sales, and then starting to develop things, because we didn't have engineering or product related things for solar. It was mostly like selling solar. So I started at that, and then I had like 6 years of like solar. So in between that, during those times, I had the opportunity to travel abroad for work. And once when I was in Singapore, I saw one of these like stand-up scooters, and these stand-up scooters that had the range of about 120 kilometers, right? These stand-up scooters were like that was the aha moment, because as soon as I saw those stand-up scooters and it went 120 kilometers, I was like, wait, if there is technology that can move, electric drivetrain technology that can move for like 120 kilometers, we can build something like that for Sri Lanka, which is 60 kilometers, right? The moment I saw the scooter and the moment I learned, I went to those two guys, they were beautiful, LED lights, whatnot, beautiful looking scooters. When I saw that and I asked about it and he said 120, that moment I was like, wait, 120 means you can completely ride around the entire of Singapore and like still have charge left, right? And then that means for Sri Lanka, for Colombo, for my my university life, this would have been a godsend. So I was like, you know what, no, we need this, Sri Lanka needs this, and that is what started Rhoda. As a company, as anything, if you want to get into business, the fundamental thing is, what's the problem, what's the solution, right? That is what we are. That was how I angled myself. And then I knew the problem. The problem is commuting, right? Getting around from point A to point B hassle free. That was the fundamental problem. Then we are like, okay, what is the solution? The solution needs to be convenient, obviously. The solution needs to be economical, and the solution needs to be sustainable, right? Buddhika, as it ends, just restart it, right? The solution needs to be convenient, the solution needs to be economical, and the solution, because I'm coming from a sustainable background, I wanted it to be sustainable. So combining these three was how we came up with this, right? So I was like, you know what, okay, we need to build an electric bicycle. Scooters won't do. Sri Lanka, I don't think the culture of standing up and commuting is not still a norm. So let's build a bicycle that everyone's familiar with, but that bicycle is easier to pedal, that bicycle is cheap to buy, and then it is sustainable because it's powered by electricity, and it uses much less electricity than energy than it has a less carbon footprint than even walking, right? So that is what basically we wanted to, that's the way we looked at it, right? And then because I partnered up with my ex-boss, who was, like I said, he had a design studio, a product design studio. I went to Hub and he was like, you know what, I was like, Lee, we need to build an electric bicycle, and we need to build not just something that's convenient, sustainable and economical, but something that needs to look cool, because people need, like, it needs to be desirable, like, because I mean, we are a country that drives Prados. We buy Priuses that are like more expensive than like Ferraris, right? So it needs, there is that pride is an important factor, right? So we wanted to build something that's actually a fashion statement, right? So that is why we built a Rhoda, and that's why Rhoda has big wheels, and that's why Rhoda looks the way it looks. We could have gone with something that's more skinnier, something that looks like, papadam wage, but you can buy that from China if you want it, right? We want to build something that's designed in Sri Lanka, that has that proud design, like that proud Sri Lankan spirit, right? That's that's out there, and then that's how Rhoda came to be. Fundamentally, it's a bicycle, right? Fundamentally, it's a bicycle that has an electric drivetrain, right? It has a motor and it has a battery that makes pedaling easier, fundamentally. So when I say pedaling easier, what it means is, podi kalle when you're learning how to ride a bicycle, තාත්තාර පිපස්සේ පොඩ තල්ලු කරාම පෙඩල් කරද්දිම තල්ලු කරාම you get this like boost, right? That momentum, right? That thrust, yes, that thrust, you get that from the motor, right? So because of that, it's much more easier to pedal, right? It's less strenuous, because say you want to start from point, like if you say you want to ride up a hill, right? Even if it's a small elevation, if you're a cyclist, you know that even that small elevation, even with the gears, it's very difficult, right? It consumes a lot of energy. So what Rhoda does is, when you're pedaling and it senses there is a hill coming up, right? It would give more power from the motor, right? So it would help you go up the hill, right? Or even when you go long distances, it still pushes you, helps you go this way. But it's still a bicycle, you're still pedaling, right? We call this the hybrid mode, right? Where you're still pedaling, you're still exerting some energy, that is only 70%, 30% less than a traditional bicycle, but that 70%, yeah, it's still only 70% less than a traditional bicycle, but that 30% that you are, that 30% is usually the points that where you're sweating. Up a hill, when you want to say, when you're in stop and go traffic, and when you're at a traffic light, you want to like accelerate, and you want to go forward, like you're pedaling harder if it's a normal bicycle, but in this, you have the throttle where you can just accelerate. So the hybrid mode is that, and then the cruise mode is where you just can use it just like a motorcycle. But fundamentally, it is actually limited to 25 kilometers per hour. So because of that, you don't need a license, you don't need registration, and it's safe. It's safe because even a bicycle, if a proper cyclist would say that they can go like 40 kilometers per hour in a bicycle. This is limited to 25 because we want to be able to, like, everyone to be able to ride it. Like in the future, what we see is Rhoda is ridden by Royal College students, right? So you go to school, you know, no longer are you going to see those lines and lines of like parents coming and parking their vehicles waiting for their children to come in, or those buses or those vans, right? It has to be kids getting on these parking, Royal College having a designated Rhoda parking area where they can charge the bicycle, right? Pick it up when they are done from school, and then pick it up and go. So that is where how we envision. So we wanted to make sure that even students can ride it, even girls can ride it. You know, when I say girls can ride it, like a motorcycle, usually girls can't ride it because of the way it's designed, right? But a scooter, women can ride it because their dress doesn't allow them to like ride it. So if you look at the step-through design, that is why we have this step-through design here. Basically, you can easily get on and easily get off, right? Without having to go like, you know, stretch and all that stuff. I used to ride a cafe racer. I know that stretch. I hate that stretch, to be honest. For me, this is like much easier because it's just like, you know, Nagala, yeah. Now helmet, I use I wear a helmet. It's a bicycle helmet. I do it just for like my safety, but it's not, I would say, fundamental to have a helmet, right? So if you're like a bit more like risk, you're like an adrenaline junkie, you can go without a helmet, right? So the idea is that, the idea is to make it as convenient as possible, and the idea is to make it as economical as possible. So this bicycle, it charges at a regular power outlet. You can charge it for 4 hours, and it only consumes about half a unit of electricity. Half a unit of electricity in any power outlet is about the cost for half a unit of electricity is about 15 rupees in a normal house, right? So you're going 60 kilometers, up to 60 kilometers in hybrid mode, and up to 30 kilometers in cruise mode for 15 rupees in one go, right? That's 15. I don't think we can do anything nowadays for 15 rupees, right? Like even a Kimbulavanis is like 30 rupees, right? So like imagine, like even buses are also expensive, right? So like a one halt distance in the bus is 15 rupees. So we wanted to make sure that's economical, and this is economical, right? And then lastly, it's sustainable. So it uses less, it emits less carbon dioxide, or it has a lesser carbon footprint than even walking. Because someone would ask, okay, how does walking emit carbon dioxide? You're eating more food. So say if you're walking to Royal College every day, right, from home, say it's like a 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer walk, you're going to eat more food to be able to power yourself through, right? So that food has a carbon footprint. Here we are saying the electricity that you're getting, even though our electricity is not very yet not environmentally so like generated through sustainable yet, even though it still has a lesser carbon footprint than even walking. So yeah, so the fundamentally those three things, the convenience, the sustainable, and the economical and sustainable, are covered. On top of that, it has to look cool, because no one's going to ride it if it doesn't look cool with those 4-inch tires and the stainless steel, and we have the matte black version, which is just completely going to be jet black, right? Like matte black. So it has to be desirable, like fashion statement. And it is designed, so this is why we designed it, this is what we mean by we designed it for Sri Lanka. We designed it for the Sri Lankan persona, because if you go to Netherlands, you have these ugly looking small bikes that people go, because they don't care about the look, right? They care about something that's utilitarian. We don't. We buy Prados. We are a country of Prados, right? So we want something that looks good. So this is why we design something that has all these aspects. So that's Rhoda. This problem is commuting, right? And I don't think commuting has an age, right? I don't think the wanting to like move around has an age limit, right? When you're a kid, like when we were going to school, to be able to go to school, uh, apart from going to school, going seeing friends, going to the kade, you know, amma kade yavana එක, it's not something that we can like get away from our society. It's a fundamental thing. Amma apiwa kade yavana. So kade yavaddi we have to go somewhere like an easy way, right? This is that solution. But then also when you grow up, you want to go to work, right? You're still commuting to work. You're still going to meet your friends. So this is still an important part. You're going to university. It's still an important part. You're going to work. You're going after you say okay, you're going to work, and then you have enough money to now drive around. Great. But then you still want to go to your grocery runs, right? Even you're 40, 45, 50, 60, whatever, you still want to do your grocery runs. So we have people, right? Like, so there was this one lady, a 75-year-old grandmother who lives in Bamlapitiya flats. She calls me up and she's like, yes, I just saw your video about Rhoda and I love it, and this is my solution for me to go to Food City and for me to go to pharmacy, and then yeah, there you have it, 75-year-old. So she actually pre-ordered one. Yeah, she actually pre-ordered one, right? And then we have this uncle who called me, who is from from where? He's from Kaluthara, like past Kaluthara, right? He was like, puta, like meka mata pansalata yanda, meka this mata kiyapu de, you know, mata pansalata yanda puluwan, mata me motorcycle yanda beai kiwuth bayai, me mage kakula abadek mama me kakula abadayak tiyenawa, so I can't go. And this I can go in cruise mode. I can just go to this one, and I can even exercise my knees by pedaling, and it's easier to pedal because you know I have some exercise involved there. I can get some like cartilage, you know, like get it working, right? So, and then it's effortlessly, like you know, you can pedal and still not put a lot of weight into it because you have the motor support, right? And then he's like, yeah, so then that age category is also covered. So I don't see Rhoda as an age thing. I just see Rhoda as a problem, which is a commute thing. If you commute, regardless of whatever the commute is, the solution is Rhoda. So yeah, that's how. Yeah, Rhoda doesn't discriminate. It's for all Sri Lanka. It's for everybody. So, like I said, this is a startup that is a COVID baby. Let's just say, I started building Rhoda right after the first lockdown, which was May 2020, right? Because I've been wanting to build Rhoda or build this electric bicycle from for past 3-4 years. But then as COVID hit, and then I realized, you know what, movement is going to be hard. People don't want to go in buses. Like all those people who were traveling by buses now can't travel by buses. They're scared to travel by buses. So I was like, you know what, I need to build this. And then we started like ramping up production, ramping up the idea, not production, but rather the prototype. What you see here is actually the beta prototype. So no, the beta prototype. The alpha broke. The beta prototype, and the proof of concept. This is actually done now about. It looks a bit raggedy because it's done about 10,000 kilometers already, right? And I've been riding this from the day that I finished it. So it's a COVID baby. So even during building this process, there was another lockdown. There was so many problems where like I just needed like a cutting saw, like a cutting disc, and I actually had to call the cutting disc manufacturer, the Eslon, to be able to get this one. Like I just wanted 2 discs, but no one else was working except for Eslon, the factory. Like, so there were so many challenges like that, like getting the tools because of these lockdowns and stuff like that. When you start anything, when you have an idea to do anything, right? Anything, it's you have that anxiety, you have that fear, you have that you have a lot of things that this comes, right? Um, but then on top of that, you will also have challenges, right? Anything you do. But then there's also this thing, right? This beautiful quote that I heard, basically that said, if you want to do something and you are very passionate about it, all you have to do is start it with the tools that you have, and then by some miracle or some magic, the universe would help you with it, right? That is how, like, and that quote ended by saying that that's what's called sympathetic magic, right? Meaning the universe sympathizes on us, on our dream, and then helps us, right? So yes, there are challenges: COVID, import restrictions, lockdowns, my suppliers getting COVID infections, my close family getting close COVID infections. Thankfully, like my family, like my home, like nobody was infected, thankfully. But like I have so many people who got infected, and so you have all these challenges that you're facing. But if you push through, right, the universe would help. Like for example, I haven't spent a single cent in marketing. It's because Sri Lanka came forward. Like you are coming forward to promote us, right? Just like that, Pulse did a piece, Rhoda did a piece. The day after we launched it, we were on Daily Mirror. When the Sunday after we launched it on Thursday, Sunday Times, we were on the cover page of Business Times. There was a Rhoda on Business Times, and this was all not. Beginning I was all like worried, how I'm going to market this, I don't have a big budget, blah 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 blah, because this is a startup. It's the universe making way, right? Because you are passionate about it, because I am passionate about it, because our whole team is passionate about it, because what we are trying to solve is a fundamental problem, right? And it's for Sri Lanka. The universe came through, like newspapers came through, magazines came through, video, like TV shows, TV came through, audio came through, Facebook came through, TikTok came through, everything came through. So for example, our 75-year-old grandmother who saw how she got to know about us was through a TikTok video. And one would think, wait, how? But actually the TikTok video migrated to WhatsApp groups, and then WhatsApp groups, they spread through WhatsApp groups, and then she saw it. So, and this is all out of my control, out of any one of our control, right? And the reason it went through is because even through those challenges, we pushed through, our team pushed through, and then the universe came back and it helped us. So yes, we had challenges, but I don't think those challenges are a problem. It's just that's just the normal one. That's how I think. Some would say universe, some would say God, I would say Allah, but whatever it is, that's how it works. Look at anyone who's successful. It's just they started it, but you ask anybody who's successful, they'll say, yeah man, like there's things that happened that I was not in control of, but the stars aligned and it just helped through. So and that would be my message to everybody watching, like all the people from Royal College, all the people from every other schools, because we have the most intelligent people, like the students, but most of these people are leaving the country because the country sometimes seem hopeless, but we are the ones who have to start developing, like building that hope. For a country to develop, it's about hope. US became US is because what's his name? Kennedy basically said, I basically want to go. I want us to be a space-faring nation and have put a man on the moon. Right? He said that even before any kind of technology development, right? But that hope that he created took US to the moon. And we don't want to go to the moon. Sri Lanka, we can go to the moon, it will be great. But as Sri Lankans, we want to help each other, like bring us to a point where we are a country that is ranked not by GDP per capita, but by GDP of happiness, like gross happiness index, right? Like if we can develop each other, because there's so many ideas. I have seen so many talented from school level to university level to work level. There's so many people. So the idea is, we go through these tough times. As we go through this, people will reach out. Like one of the most fundamental things, one of the most amazing things is how I got connected to the Minister of Industries. Not through some connection or whatever. The Minister of Industries, Honorable Vimal Veeravansa, is a huge supporter of Rhoda. Right? He actually wrote the Rhoda. He has one of these stickers. Yeah, he has one of these stickers on his table, in his office in the ministry. On his table, he has one of the Rhoda stickers. And I got connected through him just purely out of luck. Like, because somebody knew somebody who basically connected me to somebody. I didn't do anything. It just happened, right? So that is what I believe. Like, if we are really passionate about what we do, if we are really hard working about what we do, work smart about it, we are in the technology, we are in an age where anything is possible, anything can be learned online. You do that, and then we have to be the people who basically, how do I say this? We have to be the ones that create the hope, right? So for our country, right? It's not the government, right? Government is there just to not to build a nation, but rather to manage a nation. We are the ones who would build the nation, the Sri Lankans. So Rhoda is a drop in that ocean, and hopefully we help Sri Lankans. That's basically our mission. Our mission is to make mobility hassle-free. Take the pain out of movement. That's basically what Rhoda is, and that's what we're trying to do. Fundamentally, for a country to be able to move forward, it's about vision, right? And this vision is usually driven by hope. The idea is we as the citizens of this proud nation have to be the drivers of that hope. Where we envision something and we do it. There's going to be so many challenges along the way. With Rhoda, there was Corona, there was lockdown, there was import restrictions, there is dollar problems. But amidst all of that, for me, it's just like, just keep going, and then everything will come through. Sympathetic magic will do its magic. The universe will do its magic. So what I can tell the young entrepreneurs, I am still young. Don't make me like an uncle or whatever. I'm still 30 years old. I just turned 30, yesterday. But what I mean is the innovators, right? I actually want to say this beautiful quote that I actually lived by was by Steve Jobs. So what Steve Jobs said was, those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who change the world. Or let me repeat: those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Right? We believe with Rhoda we can change the community, the mobility aspect. So that's what we're going to focus on. And regardless of whatever the challenges, we're going to do it. Just like that, every single Sri Lankan, 22 million people here, there is something that they want to change, right? Maybe it's something at home, something about themselves, or something in society. So focus on that change, focus on that problem. If you think that there is a solution for it, go for it and make a change for it. It can be as simple as I don't think there's any problem that is simple. Fundamentally, even changing yourself is very hard, right? So my remark is, if you see, if you see a problem, go towards it, and then everything else would just come into place. That's all I can say, right? Yeah, that's what we throw there, and that's what I believe, like, in every single person. So Rhoda this is not Rhoda, this is Rhoda AT. This is our first product that we put out there. But Rhoda, the vision for Rhoda is make mobility hassle free. Moving from point A to point B should be a no-brainer, should not be a problem. So you should be able to live your life to the max without thinking about mobility. You want to go learn MMA, going in the bus to MMA club should not be the problem, right? Should not hold you back. That is what we envision. So we envision a sustainable mobility future for Sri Lanka, and then take this, make Rhoda, the company, spread, or basically take this ingenuity, the Sri Lankan ingenuity, to the region, right? We are more focused on South Asia and Asia than Europe or US, because there are other people working on that. Let them work on that. We want to work for Sri Lanka and this region, for Asia. So that is our vision for Rhoda. And yeah, that's it. First off, I want to say thank you very much for Royal College and Melinda, you and Ovin, to like facilitating this, to be able to promote Rhoda to Sri Lanka. And what I can say next is follow. If you are interested in buying Rhoda, go to our website www.rhoda.life. Life because it's a lifestyle, it's not just a product, right? And then you can go and pre-order now. We are taking pre-orders. We will also be, once this lockdown is done, we will also have an event where we'll basically be able to test ride the bicycle. Definitely we will have a test ride event at Royal College, where all your students can just like get on it, test ride, experience it. We are hoping to start our first batch of deliveries, which I think already pre-ordered, by November, and we'll be growing onwards like that. Thank you again. Yeah, thank you very much, and grow the life. Join Grow the Life.